Some people say the Championship is unpredictable. I am going to be trying to predict the unpredictable and probably be left looking stupid. Here is my 2022/23. It's getting old now. Championship table. I'm going to be starting at bottom and working my way up to the champions, who be getting relegated, who get automatic promotion, who's going to scrape into that top 6 playoff spot. Let's begin with my 24th place. And it is a team that came up from League One last season, and it is Rotherham United. Finished second in League One last season. Wigan, of course, were champions of League One last season, but it's a real shame, this Rotherham United, because I feel like they're just going to come straight back down again. I'm a massive fan of Paul Warne, the manager, and Rotherham United, you know, they've got a decent team, but it's just not going to survive in the Championship. They brought in Tom Eaves, the striker from Hull City, on a free transfer, which was a nice bit of business that. They also brought in the Charlton Athletic striker Connor Washington on a free transfer as well. They also got a couple of centre-backs as well to strengthen up that side, but I don't think it'll be enough for Rotherham United, and I feel like they're going to just come straight back down, and they're in my 24th spot. Okay, next up in 23rd, getting relegated. They've been struggling now for a couple of seasons. I don't know now. I've lost track of the seasons. 3 seasons they've been scrapping with relegation. I think they're going to finally get it, and that is Birmingham City in my 23rd spot. They've had some real struggles. Birmingham City have. They sacked their manager when the transfer window was open, which is definitely not what you want. Getting a new manager in when he's not even seen how his current squad can perform, that means he won't be making any transfers because he won't know which players need to come in or out. And, you know, it's not really an ideal situation for Birmingham City, and they've been struggling in the past few seasons, and I feel like now it's their time to drop. And yeah, I don't know, it's going to be, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a shame this, seeing that Birmingham City's normally, you know, in the Championship every year, but, you know, they're going to struggle. And I feel like they are going to go down. And now my final team getting relegated in 22nd. It is not a team that got promoted from League One. I'm putting Reading in my 22nd spot. Again, they had a really bad season last season, and I don't think things are going to improve for them. Probably the best transfer that they did bring in was Southampton striker Shane Long. I feel like now his time's up. He's now 34, 35. He's, you know, getting old now for a professional footballer, and I think he was on loan with Bournemouth last season or the season before that. And, you know, he's definitely not Premier League quality anymore. He was a really, you know, decent striker in the Premier League for Southampton. Reading fans, they're excited with the transfer. I probably would be. He's got some great history, but, you know, I don't think he's going to score more than 8 goals in the Championship this season. Probably less. And I think Reading are going to go down in that final relegation spot. Okay, let's move on. Narrowly surviving, just in 21st place. Rivalry aside, I'm going to give my fair prediction on this. It's Blackpool in 21st spot. Obviously they got promoted from League One last season, and, you know, I think they're going to really, really struggle this season. Of course, their manager Michael Appleton left to become an assistant of Steven Gerrard at Premier League club Aston Villa. Michael Appleton has come in now. He's now the manager of Blackpool. He's second term as Blackpool manager, of course, ex-Preston North End player as well. So, you know, there's a few Blackpool fans not happy with the appointment. Also, Blackpool haven't done any transfer business apart from last night at the time of recording. Last night, they released that they got on loan a lone midfielder from Manchester City, 20 years old, who spent last season on loan at Lincoln City. Obviously you need more than one transfer, and I don't feel like that's going to boost Blackpool in any way, and they're going to struggle. But I do think they'll narrowly survive, though. But, you know, then again, they could very easily be in that bottom 3. Okay, another team that's just going to be narrowly surviving is Wigan Athletic, of course, champions of League One last season. They're in my 20th place. Look, I'm not confident for Wigan's season ahead at all, although I do feel like they'll just narrowly survive. Not brought in any transfers at the moment, and it's a bit like Birmingham City, bit of a mess, nothing really going on, although I suppose they do have, a better manager, I would say, and some better owners than Birmingham. So yeah, as I said at the beginning, it's very difficult to predict who's going to go where, but, we've got these segments. I feel like Blackpool and Wigan are just going to narrowly survive the drop. And then finishing off in my final spot in 19th, I am going to go for Bristol City. Get them on that side of Wigan. Bristol City finished in 17th place last season, and I feel like they're going to be, around that bottom half of the table, if not lower this season. They've had not the best of transfer windows so far. Of course, there's less than 2 weeks to go until the season starts, so I have to put my full table predictions out there. But mainly some signings from League One clubs like Taylor Moore from Shrewsbury Town, the centre-back, and also they brought in Kane Wilson from Forest Green Rovers, who got promoted from League 2 to League 1, the wing-back from Forest Green Rovers as well, and also Mark Stiles from Oxford United, the midfielder from Oxford. And again, it's not really the greatest of signings to boost up Bristol City in any way. I look at those players and, I think they do deserve maybe the step up into the Championship, but they're not going to be any special player for the Championship, I don't feel. And, I think Bristol will survive, but I don't think they'll have, the greatest of seasons. Now, this one is going to surprise maybe quite a lot of you. But in 18th place, this team finished third last season in the Championship. It is Huddersfield Town. Wow, I hear you say. As I said, it could be left looking absolutely stupid, or I could be an absolute genius with this prediction. Yes, Huddersfield Town almost made it into the Premier League after losing to Nottingham Forest at Wembley in the playoff final, and I'm going to say they're going to finish in 18th place. Now, their manager has left them. They've brought in, what's he called, like the head coach is now made the step up into that managerial role, and they've had a decent transfer window, brought in quite a few players, but once again they're from the lower leagues. They've got some players from League One and League Two, and that does not fill me with confidence at all. And it's a very risky prediction, but I am going to say they are going to finish in 18th place. Okay, now moving on to 17th place, and I am going to put Hull City there. I think they'll have another mid-table, lowish kind of season. They finished 18th place, I do believe, last season, 18th or 19th, and I think they'll be around there. The exact same again. I don't think anything will change. Of course, Hull City were a team that came up from League One last season. They managed to survive in there. I think they'll survive again. They've got new ownership, new Turkish ownership. But again, we'll have to wait and see, a couple of seasons in the Championship to see well and truly whereabouts they stand. So yeah, they are my 17th place team. Now we're going to move on to 16th place, and that is Cardiff City. Now, I could sit here for absolutely hours and talk to you about the signings that they have made. They have made about 12 signings. They've absolutely gone stupid on the transfer market, and I just feel like they're signing a load of rubbish. I don't know where they're getting all these players from, but I don't think they're going to do well. Look, they were 18th last season. I think they'll be around the exact same spot. They'll survive. They'll have a decent season, mid-table in 16th place. But can somebody please tell me who they have signed? Because none of the players again, you have a look at the Huddersfield transfers, as I said, and the Bristol ones, getting them from the lower leagues and League One and League Two. Where has Cardiff gone for these players? All of their transfers have been on a free. And I will give them credit for quite a few of them. Like, they brought in Ryan Alsop from Derby County, the goalkeeper. I think he's a solid goalkeeper. We've also got a few players on loan from the Premier League, and also some Championship players as well. But once again, as I said, none of them really fill me with confidence, and they're not really the top class names that you would maybe hear in the Championship. But I do think they'll do all right. Cardiff City in my 16th place. Okay, now moving on to 15th place. It is the third and final team that got promoted from League One last season. Coached by Alex Neil, the ex-Preston North End manager, and he's got brilliant Championship experience. And they're going to be my 15th place team. Now, a lot of people are putting them higher, as in like going into that top half of the Championship table. Look, it's the first time back up in the Championship in goodness knows how long, since they got relegated from the Premier League, relegated from the Championship, been like 4 or 5 years now. But as I said, first time back up, they'll do well, they'll do really well, and they're going to survive mid-table, 15th place for me. Okay, 14th place, another team that might surprise you. They were in the playoffs last season in 6th place. That is Luton Town. Now, I really like Luton Town's manager, Nathan Jones. He does an absolutely superb job with Luton. And look, Luton were a team that once again came up from League One about 3 years now. They just narrowly survived. They brought back Nathan Jones in. It got them a mid-table finish the year after that. Got them in the top 6 a year after that. And look, I don't think they'll be there again. But relegation's not a worry for them. Definitely not. But I feel like they're going to just drop off a bit now, and by quite a bit. But Luton Town, mid-table for me. 13th place, another mid-table side, Coventry City. Again, once we get to these kind of positions in mid-table, it really could be anyone. But all these teams, mid-table for me. 12th place, I'm going to go for Stoke City as well. These now we're getting on to the top half of the Championship table. So Stoke City for me in 12th place. And then we're going to come to Blackburn Rovers in my 11th spot. Now, this one may be a little bit of a downgrade. Obviously, it's a downgrade. They just missed out on playoffs last season, and they have brought in a new manager after Tony Mowbray left Blackburn at the end of the season. Blackburn is once again a team that has made no signings. So this is why I think that they're going to, drop a bit. Now, I know I've said it with like Blackpool and Wigan without not making many signings, and I've put them down there. But Blackburn, they've got a very experienced squad. They've got some really good players. Mainly Brereton Diaz, the forward for Blackburn, but he could be on his way out. A top forward. He got 22 goals last season. Very good forward. And, once again, it's one of the rumours. Is he going to go? Is he going to stay at the club? He's a top quality player. So, it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. So, Blackburn, they need to make some signings. Once again, the new manager that they brought in doesn't really have Championship experience as well, like Mowbray did. But, I think they'll have, a decent season. Okay, in 10th place, I am putting a very surprising team. I think this will surprise you. They got relegated from the Premier League last season, and it is Norwich City. I feel like now their luck's going to run out now. Norwich City are a team that comes down, up, down, up, down, up. The yo-yo club alongside with Fulham. I think that their luck's run out now. Pukki, again, really the only player that I think they can rely on for goals. Again, he's a player now that's done it multiple times before, but now he's getting older. I don't think they'll do it. Now, their manager, of course, Dean Smith from Aston Villa, after he was sacked halfway through last season in the Premier League, he joined Norwich City. He's got really good Championship experience. You know, he got Aston Villa promoted from the Championship, got them into a mid-table finish in the Premier League, and he's not been back in the Championship since until now with Norwich City. But I think this is going to be a team that's going to surprise a lot of people. They're still going to get their fair amount of wins. They're going to, you know, show their quality still. But Norwich City in my 10th place. Shock, maybe. Right, 9th place. This is a team that many people have put low down. I'm going to be fair in the middle. Preston North End, my team, 9th place. I think we've got a really good season coming up. We've brought in Tommy Brady, of course, was on loan at Bournemouth last season. Was he on loan at Bournemouth? I don't know, actually. I'm not sure if Bournemouth got him permanently. I know he rejected a contract with Bournemouth. Got promoted to the Premier League last season. He was with Burnley. And, you know, probably one of our most exciting signings so far. We've also brought in Freddie Woodman from Newcastle United, the goalkeeper. Of course, had plenty of Championship experience after finishing 3 times in the playoff spots, twice with Swansea, and of course with Bournemouth last season as well. And, you know, high expectations with Preston fans coming into this season. Again, I'm not going to put us where, you know, quite a few Preston fans are going to say we're going to end up. I think we will narrowly miss out, but Ryan Lowe coming in, he's a top quality manager, and I feel like that we're going to, you know, as I said, loads of teams are putting us low mid-table, you know, like fighting for relegation kind of low. Same with the bookies as well, or the betting companies. Some of them are saying we're going to finish 20th. So, you know, look, we're probably the underdogs coming into this season then, but I feel like that we're definitely a team to look out for, and I'm very excited for the season once again. If, you know, since we've been in the Championship, I could speak to you hours about Preston, but since we've been in the Championship, we've never finished lower than 16th place, I do believe. And the fact that people are saying that we're going to be in 20th place fighting for relegation is just really, really hard to believe. And, you know, if we take last season with Frankie McAvoy, we got Ryan Lowe in, better squad, better manager, got better coaches in now. And, you know, how can it... plenty of ways it could go wrong, but how can we finish lower than we did before when we had really poor players and staff, managers? We have to be on the up, and, you know, as I said, it's going to be one of the most, you know, most looking forward to types of seasons for a long time. So Preston in 9th place. Okay, now moving on to 8th place. Now we can, you know, yeah, these are fighting for top 6 playoff kind of, you know, teams, but now we get into the proper stuff. In my 8th place, I am putting Queen's Park Rangers. They had a really good season last season. They finished in 11th place after just missing out on the playoffs last season. They dropped towards the end, and, you know, I think they're going to give it another really good go this season. They brought in Michael Beale from Aston Villa, the Aston Villa coach. He's now their new manager of Queen's Park Rangers. And, you know, they've had a pretty decent transfer window. They brought in Tyler Roberts from Leeds United, the forward. You know, I think he'll be, you know, he needs some game time, not getting any game time with Leeds. And I think he'll have, you know, a good season in the Championship. They also brought in Jake Clark-Slater from Chelsea on loan, the centre-back. And, you know, they've brought in some pretty decent players. Not too much, but, you know, I'd like to think some quality players there from QPR. And I think they're going to have a really good season. And they're my 8th place. Now, just missing out on the playoffs in 7th place, I am putting Swansea City. They had a really, really poor season last season, of course, after the manager left to join Nottingham Forest. I've forgotten his name, Michael Cooper. He left Swansea City to go to Nottingham Forest, of course, got promoted with Nottingham Forest. And, you know, Swansea had, you know, quite a poor season last season. But now, again, I think they're on the rise. And I think they're now... it's time for them to start fighting to get in that playoff spot and to get into the Premier League once again, maybe, since they were in it. Now was it like 6 years ago now? As I said, the time's just going now. I remember all the teams in the Premier League like Swansea, Sunderland, some teams in here as well, like Stoke, and there's Huddersfield Town, Hull City. Wow, there's loads of teams that have been wanting to get back up into the Premier League since their drop and not managed to. So yeah, I think Swansea will have a good season, and just missing out on playoffs for me in 7th place. Okay, 6th place, we've got West Bromwich Albion. They missed out on playoffs last season. They brought in Steve Bruce after he got sacked by Newcastle United. He's not really a favourite, Steve Bruce, amongst fans around football, but even me, it's really hard. But I feel like he in the Championship he can do a decent job. West Brom, they did have a real struggle last season. I think they ended up in 12th place, something like that, mid-table. But I think they've had time to refresh, and they've still got some quality in their squad. And I think they're going to give it a good go this season, and I think they'll end up in the playoffs. Not sure if they'll win it, but they'll be my 6th spot. Okay, now in 5th place, I am putting Millwall. They had, once again, a really good season last season, and Millwall are a team that you're either going to lose to them or pick up a draw against them. There's not many games that Millwall lose, and they've also brought in some really good signings, like Afobe from Stoke City, the forward, also George Honeyman from Hull City, who's a really good midfielder. Also brought in Charlie Cresswell on loan from Leeds United. So I think Millwall, with the squad that they have, and I just feel like those players coming in, they're going to be a really good team next season. Definitely a team to really look out for. So Millwall in my 5th place, and I think they're going to, as I said, have a good season, but finish strongly in that playoff spot. Okay, in my 4th place, I am putting Middlesbrough. Under their Chris Wilder, really good Championship experienced manager. Of course, he got sacked from Sheffield United when they were in the Premier League. He's come to Middlesbrough, got good Championship experience, and I think he's going to get his squad really fighting. Just missed out on playoffs, 7th place last season. I think they'll get it this season. I think they're going to be a really good side, Middlesbrough, this season. Let's just quickly move on now. Sheffield United's the next one in my 3rd place, just missing out on automatic promotion. Paul Heckingbottom got a really good squad with Sheffield United. Same really with Middlesbrough. Again, we're in with the top Championship sides that still have a really big chance of getting into the Premier League once again. And yeah, once again, we'll see how they do this season. And if they drop off, then once you've dropped off, and I don't think there's much chance of getting back into the Premier League for a while. I think this is West Bromwich Albion's last chance to get up there if they want to do it. And I don't know who's going to get promoted from the playoffs. We're left with Burnley and Watford as the two teams to go up, and this is going to be very interesting. This, because both teams have new managers. Burnley brought in Vincent Kompany from Anderlecht, of course, the ex-Manchester City captain, good player. We'll have to wait and see if he's a good manager at Championship level as well. And of course, Watford, they brought in the manager from Forest Green Rovers after he got promoted from League Two. That'll be a very big step up. Straight from getting promoted to League Two. Not sure how well you're going to do in League One. Coming to a top club that's just got relegated from the Premier League, who their fans will want to get straight back up there. I'm going to put Burnley in 2nd place, Watford in 1st place. But get them on that side of Burnley. There we go. Right. What I just don't know about coming into this season, and I feel like this is a season that anyone could place anywhere. You know, Watford, Burnley, Norwich, the teams that have come down, it's not the same 3 come down, 3 go back up again. There are some, there's some really big chances for your club to fight for that top 6 this season, because no one knows how well these 3 clubs are going to do. You might expect them to absolutely, romp it again, get back up promoted. I'm saying that Watford and Burnley will just do that. But, Burnley, they brought in some pretty good signings, loan signings from the Premier League. They brought in Harwood Bellis from Manchester City, who I think is, a really good youth signing, the centre-back. I think that's their most exciting transfer so far. Yeah, I think it'll be very difficult to beat Burnley this season, but then again, as I said, they've not been in the Championship now since 2014. They got promoted in the 14-15 season, and this is the first time back in all those 6-7 years. So it will be interesting to see how well they do. They have lost, they've lost players, some very big players, Nick Pope, James Tarkowski. So Ben Mee, I think, has gone as well. So Weghorst went. There's Cornet's future's not certain as well, but they're just players that Burnley brought in last season. But we're talking about like some of the top quality players that have been with Burnley throughout like their entire Premier League history when they got promoted in the 14-15 season. But we'll have to wait and see how well they do. That's my full Championship table prediction. That's, as I said, not going to be correct in any way. But there we go. Thank you all for watching. Please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all probably in my Premier League table prediction